Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Right, Yahweh being named the Heavenly Father, who the world will call God, and Yahushai being named His only begotten Son, who the world everyone calls Jesus Christ. This is Brother Kasadi from W5 Jersey, Philly, and we want to touch on today is how do you grow in the Spirit, right? How to grow, right? How to reach that next level, and it all starts by you being willing. Right? You have to be willing to be taught. You can't grow if, you're not willing to listen to elders. You can't grow if you're not willing to, be a student. You got to be a student. You got to be a servant. Let's kick it off with the book of Mark, the 10th chapter. So the only way you can grow in this truth is to be a servant. You got to put your life aside, right, for the welfare of others, right, for the welfare of the nation, right? And of course, for the welfare of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's the only way you want to grow in this truth. And it's the book of Mark chapter 10 and verse 42. And it reads, Mark chapter 10 and verse 42. But Yahushai called them to him and said unto them, ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. Right? Those that's in this world, those that's going to those are the rulers, the politicians, the damn governors, the kings, the princes, whatever you want to say, the presidents. These men, they exercise lordship over the different other nations, the heathen. Reading on. And their great ones exercise authority upon them. But so shall it not be among you. But whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister. So the Lord said, whoever's going to be great amongst Israel, you got to be a minister. Meaning you got to minister unto others. You got to lay down your life for others. Yahushua didn't come. It's going to tell you that Yahushua didn't come having people minister unto him. Right? No, he came out. He healed the sick. Right? He went for relieve the oppressed. That's what Yahushua came to do. We got to come in that same image. So the first thing you got to do, you got to be a servant for the nation of Israel's sake. And you got to do so with all joy and gladness. When your brother is down low, and you got to go be there to bestow and help up and lift your brother up. Right? I'm going to get a precept on that. It says, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. So if you want to be the chiefest, if you want to be part of 144,000, ultimately, it's not for you to decide, it's of the Lord. But you need to labor as if you did have the opportunity to be able to put your work in and get there. Right? Right? We got to study to show ourselves approved. Right? We got to make our call and election sure. Right? We got to labor upon laboring upon laboring. That's what you got to do in this thing. All right? So this video is not just for, Israel, but it's also for me. These are precepts I kind of went over, kind of wrote them down. Like, look, I want to grow. I do want to hit different levels in this thing, right? Just to be a better teacher for the Most High God. And the only way you can do that is by, like we mentioned, you got to be a servant for the nation of Israel, staying up later, right? Waking up earlier, right? Studying longer, right? Reading longer, being on the phone with brothers at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's what you got to do. That's first and foremost. Number two, you got to be willing to be taught. So I'm going to read on first. It says, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. But you got to give your life a ransom for many. Why? Because it's your brothers and sisters, man. That's what a lot of brothers in this truth, the Lord called you. The Lord put a certain spirit on certain brothers to be in this thing for the nation of Israel, man. To be servants for the nation of Israel. To help Israel get, to wake Israel up. To allow Israel to grow in this truth. Right? For different students to arise, all, right, serving the Most High God. Just because a brother's putting his brick in, and now another brother kind of watching it. A brother out there laboring, making live at the live, video at the video, that can inspire a brother, right? And allow, just from him laboring and being a servant for the Lord's sake and a servant for the nation of Israel's sake, now it's inspiring a brother to go harder. So that brother that was laboring and doing what he got to do, now he just, he put his brick in, and now everybody else kind of want to chip that brick in too and build his temple. Because that one man, he was on fire and doing his thing and being a servant. Now that man, the Lord is going to allow that man to grow. So this is the book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 1. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak. Right? If you're strong, meaning you're stronger in the word, the Lord said you got to bear the infirmities of the weak. So that's how you can allow yourself. The Lord he's going to reward you. The Lord is not, not going to reward those that's laboring for him. Right? There's a precept I'm thinking of, right? But it escapes me. But nevertheless, the Lord's not going to be unrighteous. You kind of doing, you serving, right? You're doing what you got to do. You laboring. At the end of the day, that's vanity anyway, because it is not about how much work you put in this thing. The Lord is going to grow those he wants to grow. But the Most High God will still, he's not going to overlook. He's going to have mercy upon you. And he's going to, again, have mercy, have compassion on those that's laboring, those that's putting the work in, those that's being diligent. Reading on. It says, and not to please others. So you gotta bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please others. You don't want to do this to be seen of men. You don't want to do this week after week because you want to, Salakia. You want to do this week after week because you want to be seen of men. You want to be esteemed higher than what you are, right? You truly want the Most High God to give you that reward, right? Because you serving and you being diligent. Let's get another precept on this. All right, so let's go to the book of Proverbs. So, of course, you've been a servant for the nation of Israel's sake. But, secondly, you got to be willing to be taught. You got to be willing to be taught. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, my son, attend unto my wisdom and bow thy ear to my understanding. So the Lord said you got to attain or attend unto his wisdom. Meaning you got to grasp the wisdom, understanding the Lord is given. Wherever, let's get a precept. Wherever, wisdom has been broken down at, and you won't be right there too. Breakdowns is happening. Brothers on live, brothers on Instagram, brothers on YouTube, whatever the case may be, you won't be right there as well. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 2. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. So a wise man, a man that wants to be great, hey, you got to be willing to be taught. You got to be so in love with this truth, so infatuated with this truth that you stand up late, right? You always got the damn earphones in. You always writing damn breakdowns, right? Because you just can't stop. That's how you got to be. And you got to be willing to anytime, again, a breakdown's been brought out, or some deep history has been brought out, or whatever the case may be. You're going through different breakdowns, different prophecies. You got to be there too, man. Dark sayings, right? Spiritual, different things. You got to go through the scriptures, man. Right? You got to be willing, right, to, again, to receive that spiritual gift of the Most High God. All right? So, let me get another precept on this. Just the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 13. Right, here's another precept on this. Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 13. Salakia, I want Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 32. Salakia. Sirach, chapter 6, verse 32. It says, my son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Right, if you're willing, the Most High God will teach you. If you're willing, the Lord set up many different laborers in his vineyard. Right, many. The Lord said, the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. In the book of Luke, chapter 9 and verse 62, I believe. But nevertheless, it's still, it's still an abundance of different teachers all throughout Israel. Right, you don't got to just get breakdowns from WFI. If that's not your thing. There's breakdowns from other camps as well. Other teachers, other laborers in the vineyard of the Lord. Nevertheless, though, the point is you got to, go to a teacher, get the breakdown, receive the understanding, right, and go from there. Then from there, you can kind of make your own breakdowns, right, and start being built up that way, right? I remember when I first came in this truth, all I did is write breakdowns, right? And I still write breakdowns, but all I did, when I first came in this truth, just breakdown to breakdown to breakdown, took those breakdowns and, started a channel from that. because that's how the spirit works sometimes. Reading on, it says, "Thou shalt be." Hold on, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, right? Apply your mind to the precepts you're given. It says, "Thou shalt be prudent," meaning you're gonna be wise. The Lord's gonna allow you to be a wise man. All right. So this video is not that long, but I got a few more precepts on this. This is just the exhortate Israel. Look, if you want to grow in this thing, if you want to be, a part of 144,000, if you want to make your call and election sure, the way you do that is, first, you got to be a servant for the nation of Israel's sake, and you also got to be willing to be taught. Reading on, it says, "If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of elders, and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee." Don't let the parables of understanding escape you. Meaning, don't let video after video go by and you're not watching them. It should be no reason for that. Every day you should be willing to be built up in this truth. Let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, the 4th chapter. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 20. It says, "My son, attend to my words, and incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thy eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Because with this heart, in this world, you got to deal with different things. The Lord has set the world in our heart. It tells you that in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, I believe. So that we got to worry about the affairs and the things of this life. But nevertheless, and you want to make sure you keep the wisdom and understanding diligently in your heart. Meditate upon it day and night. It shouldn't go days when you're not reading. That's happened to me. I went days without reading, and I felt terrible the next day. Right? Because imagine you going in the damn, you waking up and you're not eating. I'm not talking about fasting, but you're just not eating. You just neglect your body. You tell your body you don't want to eat today. It's not that you fasting. You kind of still doing your thing, but you just don't eat. Over time, your body's going to wear down. So the same thing when you're not eating spiritually, right? Your spirit's going to wear down, right? And it's going to show. So with that being said, again, if you want to be mighty in this truth, if you think you mighty, listen, you got to be a servant at the end of the day for the Most High God, for the nation of Israel. You can't puff yourself up. You can't be prideful. Those men are not going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. So with that, this is Brother Kasadia from WFI Jersey, Philly. Lord willing, everybody was edified. Giving again all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach Umalak Yahweh Shai. Kwame Sharala, Shalom.